On Tuesday night, December 3rd, at 10:30 p.m. Seoul time 9:30 p.m. Beijing time, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol suddenly gave a live televised speech and announced the implementation of emergency martial law across the country. Yoon Suk-yeol listed several reasons, claiming that the opposition party was hijacking the National Assembly and disrupting the country, and stated that he would purge the pro-North anti-state forces in South Korea. The specific martial law measures are currently unknown according to external analysis. The recent series of legislations promoted by the South Korean left-wing opposition party, targeting Yoon Suk-yeol's wife, Keon-hee, as well as the impeachment of public officials such as prosecutors, might have been the trigger for Yoon Suk-yeol's announcement of emergency martial law. After convening an emergency meeting overnight, Yoon Suk-yeol announced, "South Korea is facing the threat of a power paralysis as some lawmakers are attempting to initiate an impeachment process against me." Such turmoil in the South Korean political situation and the adoption of such extreme, confrontational means last happened more than 40 years ago. It has long been a part of the thick and distant history belonging to a bygone era. A single stone stirs up thousands of waves. The national martial law in South Korea has evoked the historical memories of those who are familiar with South Korea, Northeast Asia, and the history of the Cold War. According to the latest opinion polls in South Korea, Yoon Suk-yeol's approval rating has stopped falling and rebounded to 23.7% after hitting record lows for 2 consecutive weeks. The disapproval rating has dropped by 2.1 percentage points from last week to 73%. The opinion polls also surveyed the support rates for political parties. The results showed that the ruling conservative right-wing People Power Party had 31.6%, up 0.9 percentage points from last week, while the largest opposition party, the left-wing Progressive Democratic Party of Korea, had 47.5%, up 3.8 percentage points recently. The left-wing opposition party in South Korea has promoted a series of legislations targeting Keon-hee, the wife of Yoon Suk-yeol, as well as impeaching public officials such as prosecutors, feeling that his position was in jeopardy. Yoon Suk-yeol resorted to such extreme measures. Yoon Suk-yeol claimed that the opposition party was hijacking the National Assembly and disrupting the country, and directly labeled the left wing as pro-North anti-state forces. Currently, the specific martial law measures remain unknown. However, regarding the lawsuits involving Yoon Suk-yeol and his main opponent, Jae-myung, we can sort out some of the judicial confrontation means between the two sides at present. Apart from having a low approval rating, Yoon Suk-yeol is mainly affected by the incident in which his wife, Keon-hee, received Dior handbags. And this incident reflects the left-right confrontation in South Korean politics to a greater extent. The left wing has attempted to use this incident to strike at the Yoon Suk-yeol administration, while the right wing generally believes that it is a phishing operation targeting Yoon Suk-yeol. Choi Jae-myung phonetic translation, also translated as Choi Jae-myung, a Korean-American pastor who advocates friendly relations with North Korea, got to know Keon-hee during Yoon Suk-yeol's presidential campaign and was invited to attend Yoon Suk-yeol's inauguration ceremony in May 2022. After that, he tried to meet Keon-hee on multiple occasions and gave her gifts, including a Chanel makeup gift set worth $1,300 in June 2020. 3 months later, in September, Choi Jae-myung requested to meet Keon-hee again and informed her in advance that he would bring an expensive gift. This time, he gave Keon-hee a Dior ladies handbag worth $2,200, according to the conversation in the video. Keon-hee initially refused to accept the gift, saying, "Why do you always bring these things?" But she finally accepted the handbag. Choi Jae-myung used a camera hidden in his smartwatch to film the whole process and provided the secretly filmed video to the left-wing media in South Korea. The Voice of Seoul channel subsequently. At the end of 2023, this channel made the video public, which triggered widespread public attention and controversy after the incident was exposed. The South Korean society had mixed reactions to it. The left-wing media and the opposition criticized Kim Keon-hee's behavior, believing that she had violated the improper solicitation law. However, the right-wing media thought that the incident was not that serious and questioned the motives of Choi Jae-myung and the Voice of Seoul, regarding it as a phishing operation targeting the Yoon Suk-yeol administration, according to the Civil Servant Ethics Law of South Korea. Government officials and their spouses are not allowed to accept gifts worth more than $750. Therefore, Kim Keon-hee's acceptance of the Dior handbag worth $2,200 clearly violated this regulation. The left wing demanded that the judicial authorities impose penalties on Kim Keon-hee. The lightest consequence could be an apology. If Kim Keon-hee only accepted the gift and was not involved in other improper behaviors, the lightest way to handle it might be for her to make a public apology, admit her mistake and return the gift. A fine could be imposed as a moderate consequence. According to the Civil Servant Ethics Law, Kim Keon-hee might be fined, and the specific amount would depend on the ruling of the Judicial Department. Probation could be the most severe consequence. Although theoretically Kim Keon-hee might face more serious legal consequences, considering that she didn't make any substantial promises or influence policies. Moreover, similar cases in South Korea's history usually didn't lead to long-term imprisonment. So the most serious way to handle it might be to sentence her to probation. Choi Jae-myung claimed that he hoped to influence Yoon Suk-yeol's North Korea policy through Kim Keon-hee and prompt South Korea to adopt a more moderate attitude. However, from the video and subsequent reports, Kim Keon-hee did not make any commitments or indicate that she would change Yoon Suk-yeol's stance. In fact, Yoon Suk-yeol's North Korea policy did not change significantly before and after the incident and still remained tough. Although the incident triggered certain controversies, most of the public believed that it would not have a major impact on the Yoon Suk-yeol administration. Kim Keon-hee's behavior violated relevant regulations, but there was no evidence showing that she took advantage of this opportunity to influence policies or seek personal gains. Kim Keon-hee's acceptance of the Dior handbag did violate the Civil Servant Ethics Law, but the legal issue was not serious since she did not make any substantial commitments or influence policies. It was unlikely that she would face severe legal consequences. The most likely outcome was that she would make a public apology and pay a fine. However, it was the overreaction of Yoon Suk-yeol, the former chief prosecutor and current president who loves his wife dearly, that escalated and intensified the problem after the incident was exposed. The South Korean National Assembly once discussed the establishment of a special investigation team on Kim Keon-hee's receipt of the bag, but Yoon Suk-yeol used his presidential veto power to block the passage of this proposal. Even right-wing media such as the Chosun Ilbo believe that Yoon Suk-yeol should not continue to use his veto power for this because there was no major legal problem with this matter. Continuing to use the veto power might damage the public support rate of the ruling party and instead benefit the pan-left opposition. This matter thus grew bigger and bigger and became a banner used by the South Korean left wing to oppose Yoon Suk-yeol. Of course, Kim Keon-hee has a number of negative incidents on her back, including being accused of manipulating the stock price of a German automobile many years ago, and being suspected of making huge profits through land speculation. Her mother, Choi Yoon-soon, was also arrested and imprisoned in early 2023. But after several judicial confrontations, it can be said that she is currently okay. The right wing, on the other hand, questioned You should ask which one. Keon-hee, the wife of Yoon Suk-yeol, or Kim Hye-kyung, the wife of Lee Jae-myung, is more suitable to go to prison first. Kim Hye-kyung has been accused of using the corporate card of the public institution for personal consumption, ordering civil servants of the Jae-myung provincial office to run errands for her, prescribing illegal drugs, and attacking other Democratic Party politicians online under a pseudonym. She also has quite a number of negative incidents, of course. There is also Lee Jae-myung himself, the current number one enemy of Yoon Suk-yeol and the standard-bearer of the left wing. Lee Jae-myung is regarded as a hot candidate for the South Korean presidency in 2027. In the 2022 presidential election, Lee Jae-myung lost to Yoon Suk-yeol by a narrow margin on Monday, November 25, 8 days ago. The first instance judgment of the case of suborning perjury involving Lee Jae-myung, the leader of the largest opposition party in South Korea, the left-wing Democratic Party of Korea, was announced by the Seoul Central District Court. Lee Jae-myung was acquitted. This is the sixth time that Lee Jae-myung has been prosecuted by the prosecution since the establishment of the Yoon Suk-yeol administration. It took 2 months from the prosecution's indictment to the first instance judgment. On September 30th, the South Korean prosecution sought a 3-year prison sentence for Lee Jae-myung from the court on the grounds of suspected suborning perjury. The prosecution accused Lee Jae-myung of asking Kim Jin-sung Fanatic, the secretary of Kim Byung-ji Ryan-ji deceased, the then mayor of Seongnam City, to give testimony favorable to himself during court hearings involving himself between 2018 and 2019 after 2 months of trial. The 33rd Criminal Collegiate Bench of the Seoul Central District Court announced the first instance judgment on Lee Jae-myung's suborning perjury case and ruled that Lee Jae-myung was acquitted. The court determined that Lee Jae-myung was not suspected of suborning perjury. Kim Jin-sung was sentenced to a fine of 5 million won for altering some facts of the case 10 days earlier. On Friday, November 15, the first instance judgment of the case in which Lee Jae-myung was suspected of violating the public office election law was announced. The 34th Criminal Collegiate Bench of the Seoul Central District Court sentenced him to 1 year in prison with a 2-year probation. The court stated that during the election process, he released false information to voters, which was suspected of distorting and undermining public opinion, and pointed out that the defendant's guilt and circumstances of the crime were quite serious. After the court session, Lee Jae-myung told the media that he could not accept the judgment and would file an appeal. The Democratic Party of Korea chanted the slogan "Lee Jae-myung will not fall" for several consecutive days, showing their determination to fight to the death according to relevant laws in South Korea. If the final judgment of the court upholds the original judgment, Lee Jae-myung will lose his seat in the National Assembly and will be prohibited from running for public office for 5 years, which means that he will not be able to participate in the next presidential election on Tuesday, November 19. The Public Investigation Department of the Suwon Local Prosecutor's Office filed the 7th prosecution against Lee Jae-myung, accusing him of using official vehicles for private purposes, misappropriating the budget of the Jae-myung provincial government to pay for meals during his tenure as the governor of Jae-myung province from July 2018 to October 2021. The total amount involved in the case was 106.53 million won. Jung surname, the head of the Secretary's Office of the Governor of Jae-myung province during Lee Jae-myung's tenure, and Pei surname, a government civil servant, were also prosecuted together. Specifically, Lee Jae-myung obtained benefits of at least 60.16 million won by using official vehicles for private purposes. He used the corporate card of the Jae-myung provincial government to pay for meals amounting to about 8.89 million won. He used the budget of the Jae-myung provincial government to buy fruits, pay for breakfast and laundry by swiping the corporate card or falsely reporting consumption details. The amounts were 27.91 million won for fruits, 6.85 million won for breakfast and 2.7 million won for laundry respectively. The Democratic Party of Korea condemned the indictment as far-fetched and a conspiracy to strangle the president's political opponent. The confrontation between the ruling and opposition parties in South Korea has intensified. The left wing is also unwilling to be besieged by the judiciary and has vigorously promoted the special inspection law for Keon-hee, attempting to restrict the veto power of President Yoon Suk-yeol. Lee Jae-myung called for the special inspection law for Keon-hee to be passed. He said that although President Yoon Suk-yeol might use his veto power to block the passage of the special inspection bill, this country does not belong to the president alone. The majority of the people hope that the special inspection law will be passed. And we will go all out to promote this process. Now, Yoon Suk-yeol has resorted to the national martial law, which has not been seen for more than 40 years. What is he going to do? Does he disregard international opinion and the pressure from his own camp, especially from the United States? After Yoon Suk-yeol announced the martial law, South Korea's Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun convened a meeting of major commanders, and Army General Park In-soo was appointed as the martial law commander. Immediately, a number of bans were issued. Prohibit political activities such as political associations, rallies, and demonstrations. Prohibit the activities of the National Assembly, local councils, and political parties during the martial law period. All media and publications are under the control of the commander. All medical personnel, including residents, must return to their original work positions within 48 hours. Those who violate the martial law may be arrested without an arrest warrant. The Speaker of South Korea's National Assembly was on his way to the parliament and planned to hold a meeting. However, the entrance to the parliament had been blocked, and South Korean lawmakers were unable to enter the parliament. In his speech, Yoon Suk-yeol said, "The South Korean National Assembly has become a nest of criminals. To impeach the president, the Democratic Party of Korea couldn't gather enough votes. With the emergency martial law, does Yoon Suk-yeol want to arrest Lee Jae-myung? Let's wait and see."